Hello, and welcome to Pulse Social's weekly news bulletin. I'm your host, Edward Dexter. Let's take a look at this week's stories. In this week's stories, I look at the modern personal trainer and Jamaica, how a small Caribbean island is such a prolific source of world-class athletes. I will look at the distinction between rich and poor schooling systems in Jamaica and see how a disparity in funding can affect the careers of young athletes. In my podcast, I spoke with Sean Lyle, a Jamaican native, about his career as a young footballer in Jamaica and then his career as a personal trainer in South London. In this week's blog, I'll be asking why Jamaica, a tiny Caribbean island, is such a prolific source of world-class athletes. Researchers have put much of it down to the Caribbean lifestyle. The Caribbean diet is carb-rich and gives young Jamaicans a strong nutritional base from which to develop their athletic skills. Lack of money for public transport in order to get to school means that they have to go up and down hills. In rural communities, kids don't walk to school, they run. Despite these apparent advantages, there is a problem at the heart of the sporting world in Jamaica. That is, a lack of funding. Schools are very important because it is through the school sports events that talented kids are detected. However, schools in poor rural areas cannot offer their pupils anything in support, not even track shoes. However, a recent funding campaign by the National Jamaican Lottery Organisation, Supreme Ventures, is aiming at developing sports which up until now have been underrepresented and underfunded in Jamaican society. We'll explore this and more in my blog. In my podcast, I spoke with Sean Lyle. Sean is currently a personal trainer at David Lloyd's Leisure Club, Beckenham. He's a semi-professional footballer for Sutton Common Rovers. Last year, he founded Mazza, an interactive spin business. He's also worked as a gym manager for Version Fitness and as a trainer at BUA Fitness, an online service connecting customers with personal trainers. He also works as a sports model. I talked to Sean about the challenges he faced as a young sports person in his home country and how getting out of Jamaica gave him the start he needed. These have been this week's Pulse Social's weekly news bulletin stories. I've been your host, Edward Dexter. Look out for my podcast and my blog article coming soon. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next week.